Imagine waking up one morning to the shocking news of a rapidly spreading virus turning people into flesh-eating zombies. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but in today's what-if scenario, we're treating it as a real event, like we're scripting a blockbuster film. Welcome to the channel, everyone. If you enjoy this kind of content, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm you want more. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop your wildest what-if ideas in the comments below. If you have a crazy scenario you want us to break down and turn into a video, just let me know. In today's video, we'll stay calm and explore how we might react to a global zombie outbreak. We'll jump between different possibilities. Maybe the fast, feral zombies from World War Z, or the slow, shuffling ones from The Walking Dead. We'll cover survival strategies, how humans might behave, and even throw in a crazy twist at the end. First, remember experts agree that planning for a crisis is never a bad idea. Studies show these zombie stories actually help people think more seriously about real-world survival and disaster preparedness. So, let's start at day one of the apocalypse. The headlines flash, Outbreak. Suddenly, the unimaginable becomes reality. In a real emergency like this, chaos would erupt instantly. People would panic, rushing to grocery stores and gas stations, hoarding supplies, and scrambling for medical necessities. Experts recommend keeping at least a 2-week supply of essentials, food, water, and medicine, ready at all times. When it comes to water, the general rule is 1 gallon per person per day. Think of it like preparing for a major hurricane or pandemic, but now it's citywide and escalating fast. In those first critical hours, governments would likely declare martial law or set up quarantine zones to try and contain the situation. Researchers warn that in a zombie outbreak, time is the most critical factor. Without a swift and aggressive response, the risk of total societal collapse becomes extremely high. One study even showed that a zombie virus could wipe us out unless containment efforts start immediately and decisively. No pressure, right? While governments scramble to react, ordinary people like us would need to quickly improvise survival kits. Emergency planners suggest grab-and-go bug-out bags packed with essentials like a flashlight, knife, first aid kit, radio, batteries, water purifier, and if you have them, weapons and ammunition. A quick checklist should also include food, water, medications, warm clothing, and other basics. Since grocery stores will likely be emptied fast, you'll have to rely entirely on what you already have at home. That's why learning basic survival skills, like purifying water and providing first aid, becomes incredibly important. Ask yourself, do you know a simple way to purify water? Do you know how to handle a medical emergency with just a basic kit? These are critical skills not only for zombie outbreaks, but for any disaster scenario. Before we go further, if you're enjoying these what-if videos, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Now, the big question, what kind of zombies are we dealing with? Because that changes everything. There's a huge difference between fast, rabid hordes like in World War Z and the slow, stumbling types from The Walking Dead. Fast zombies are terrifying. They can sprint, leap, and overwhelm an area in massive swarms. Imagine an entire city block getting overrun in minutes. In that kind of outbreak, there's no chance of outrunning them. Experts agree that your best chance of survival is stealth, staying underground, hidden, and moving quietly, especially at night. If you spot one zombie nearby, chances are dozens more close behind, multiplying with every human they infect. Fast zombies like those from World War Z require you to be almost invisible. If we're dealing with slow zombies, the kind that shuffle and lumber, they're easier to avoid. You don't need to outrun them. Just keep your distance, move smartly, and outthink them. Regardless of the type, your top priority should always be to stay calm and alert. Even pets could serve as early warning systems. Dogs, for example, can sense threats before humans do. But with fast zombies, a barking or panicked dog could attract a swarm, turning an early warning into a deadly beacon. Zombie infections usually spread through bites or contact with infected bodily fluids, much like a grotesque virus. While fictional stories mention viruses like the alpha virus, Real-world comparisons include rabies or parasitic fungi that take control of their hosts. If you're bitten, it's usually game over very quickly. That's why people would rush to fortify shelters, build barricades, and seek secure locations like abandoned malls. Cities would likely fall rapidly under overwhelming undead swarms, pushing military forces to flood the streets in attempts to regain control. As mentioned earlier, the numbers are grim. A study modeling zombie outbreaks concluded that if the infection isn't crushed early, humanity could be wiped out within weeks. In response, we might see UN task forces rounding up survivors, closing borders, and bombing infected zones in desperation. It sounds insane, but this is exactly where planning matters. So what gear should you have? Start with preparing your bug-out bag. You need everything: flashlights, flares, sterile bandages, a can opener, yes, you'll need one, and other basics. Don't overlook things like a bicycle, since pedal power could be one of the few reliable transportation forms left when fuel runs out. Fuel won't last in a zombie outbreak. It'll quickly become one of the most valuable and rare resources. Experts joke that after society collapses, finding good gasoline will be almost laughable since fuel remains usable for only a few months. That's why having a bike is smart. It doesn't need gas and still gives you mobility. Next, secure a base. Ideally, you want to be in a small town or rural area where there are fewer zombies and more natural resources like game for hunting, fresh water, and fishing spots. Going solo might seem tempting at first, but long-term survival heavily depends on community. Hollywood loves the lone wolf survivor, but in real disasters, people tend to band together in groups or neighborhoods. Experts believe having a common enemy, zombies, could help unite people instead of driving them apart. Being in a group lets you share skills. Someone might know first aid, another could be a mechanic, and pooling resources increases everyone's chances of survival. Speaking of survival, there are basic skills everyone should learn. You don't have to be a Navy SEAL, but you do need to know how to boil and purify water, start a campfire, and treat minor wounds. Modern society has forgotten many of these essential old-school skills. If something breaks or someone gets hurt, you won't be able to rely on the internet or smartphones. Once the power goes out and networks collapse, there'll be no ChatGPT or Google to look up how to properly clean a wound or make safe drinking water. So it's worth preparing now. Maybe take a basic first aid course while you still can. As one survival specialist said, even if Daryl from TV gets hit with an arrow, someone needs to know how to patch him up. In a world without emergency rooms, nurses, or ambulances, getting proper medical care becomes a serious challenge. You'll have to handle injuries yourself and do it right. That's why having firearms or defensive tools becomes essential. In some countries, access to guns might be easy, case closed like in The Walking Dead. But in others, people would have to improvise with whatever they can find: baseball bats, garden tools, or even zombie-proof fences. Quiet weapons become especially valuable since gunshots attract more zombies. In this situation, silence and patience can be far more effective than bravado. Still, having a solid stockpile of guns and ammo definitely offers more comfort and security. As weeks go by, governments and militaries will be in full crisis mode. Planes grounded, cities locked down, communications failing. With widespread power outages, survivors might rely on candlelight just to get through the night. Remember, studies show the only real way to eliminate a zombie outbreak in simulations is by using every weapon and resource available consistently and without hesitation. This means strategic nukes might be used while scientists race in underground labs to develop a cure or at least a working vaccine. Even in the middle of chaos, human nature shows surprising duality. History shows people still try to help one another through their jobs or neighborhoods. In the face of fear, kindness often finds a way. One crisis specialist noted many people would rather suffer quietly than harm the innocent. That gives hope for new communities forming, groups banding together like an army of the living. Safe zones might emerge on farms, remote islands, or other places zombies can't easily reach. Trade posts could form where bartering replaces currency. Sunflower seeds for batteries, for example. But not everyone will be friendly. As always, there will be dangerous, selfish, and cruel people. So, while some try to rebuild and survive together, it won't be all unity and hope. Threats will come from both the undead and the living. Now imagine we're 5 months into the outbreak. The attacks haven't stopped, but have been contained to specific areas. Then comes the turning point. Scientists announce a possible cure. It might sound unbelievable, but maybe some survivors already have natural immunity. Or perhaps someone discovers a way to reactivate part of a zombie's brain. Think back to World War Z, where one man wasn't attacked. Maybe something like that happens here. If a vaccine were developed, it would trigger mass rallies, frantic searches, and desperate missions to secure it. Now here's a wild twist. What if the real shock isn't that a cure exists, but how it works? Imagine a tiny percentage of the population already carries the zombie virus, but never turned, making them humanity's last hope. Sure, it's a story we've seen in hundreds of movies, but you never really know. So, what if the zombies actually win? What would you do? In the beginning, fast and decisive action is crucial. Of course, your first instinct would be to protect the people you love, but you also need to think beyond that. Short to mid-term planning is key. We've talked about chaos at the start, emergency preps, and differences between fast versus slow zombies. We all agree a World War Z-style outbreak spirals out of control instantly, while the Walking Dead version is more manageable. Still, the core survival strategy doesn't change. Stockpile water, learn first aid, and find your people. In the end, even though the zombie apocalypse is fiction, the skills and mindset needed to survive are very real. Civil defense experts and studies have shown that exploring these scenarios, using zombies as stand-ins, can actually improve real-world disaster preparedness. So staying informed, staying calm, and working together becomes the ultimate survival plan. But think about it. How would you survive? Would you hold up in a shopping mall, barricade the entrances, and take to the roof with a sniper rifle? Let me know your plan in the comments.